Hey, this is Troy from Planet 76. We've got some really good Sixers-focused content coming your way today. Make sure you subscribe to the pod so you can be in the know when we release new content. Enjoy the show. Well, this team absolutely sucks right now. Sixers fall to 1-6. I repeat, 1-6 after their loss to the Los Angeles Clippers tonight, 110-98. It was not that close. Sixers were outscored 33-17 in the third quarter by the Clippers. Just an absolute nightmare that the Sixers start to the season with Embiid's injury. Paul George not playing until the Phoenix game a couple nights ago. Embiid's now suspension. It's absolutely insane. And this team sucks right now. Keyword right now. Sixers again fall to 1-6 to start the season. 2 weeks in, 1-6 record. Not good. That one lone win, a win over the Indiana Pacers in overtime on the road, a game in which Tyrese Maxey had to drop 45 just so the Sixers could get the win. But, hi, welcome. Planet 76, episode 162. If you can't tell, we are fresh off of the Sixers' loss to the Clippers on the West Coast late, but wanted to get an episode out. And Michael was like, yeah, dude, go for it. So here we are. Here I am. And a lot to talk about. Hopefully won't be a super long episode, but Sixers are really, really, really struggling right now. And, in the course of the Joel Embiid era, stop me if you've heard this before, Sixers are not as good of a team without Joel Embiid on the floor. And that just has continued to be the case this season. Now 7 games without him. It's going to be the next 2 games without him. He's likely to make his debut on the season against the Knicks next Tuesday night on TNT, which will be at home and will be the Sixers' first game in the in-season tournament. So a little excitement there. But he's going to miss the next 2 against the Lakers. So Sixers are staying in LA. They're going to play the Lakers on Friday. And then they're going to get the Hornets at home on Sunday before, again, that game where Joel Embiid will be eligible to return next Tuesday. But between now and then, again, Sixers have 2 games before that, but also, it's been an absolute nightmare. Offense, defense, everything looks bad. Can't really point to much really going well. Tyrese Maxey's had his moments. He did not have any moments tonight. He had 12 points in the first half, finished with 12. Got hurt early fourth, late third quarter. I don't remember exactly, but hamstring was holding it. Hopefully nothing too serious. But again, it would be par for the course for the Sixers so far this season. Just anything that could go wrong has gone wrong, it seems like. And so again, tonight against the Clippers, Maxey 5 of 13 from the floor, 12 points. Paul George more efficient tonight. His game against Phoenix was not so efficient. I think he was 4 for 14. And that's a game the Sixers should have won, or was looking like they were going to. 2-3 possession lead late in the fourth quarter. Could not close it out. Couldn't get stops. Couldn't get buckets late. And Kevin Durant kind of took over. And that was a weird ending too, because Paul George admittedly was like, I thought we were down 1. And so he, 24 seconds left, Sixers down 2 after KD makes a layup, and George dribbles the clock all the way down to 4 seconds, takes a deep contested mid-range, misses. Sixers get a tap out, but time expired as Maxey was firing up a 3 that didn't make it and wasn't going to count anyway because of the clock. But you got to know time and score, or you got to know time to score. You got to know how much time's left in the game. You got to know what the score is. So if you're down 2, you got to go earlier in the clock. If you're down 1, you got to go earlier in the clock so you can get an opportunity maybe for an offensive rebound like they almost had. And so to take that shot with 4 seconds left is crazy. So poor clock management, poor awareness on Paul George's part, and Maxey was kind of the hot hand at that point, and Paul George, you're 4 for 13 before that shot. Wasn't his first night with the team, and yet tried to play a little bit of hero ball, I think, late. I don't know, but anyway, so Sixers should have won that one. They did not. Fell to Phoenix. Close game for the Sixers against the Clippers at the half, and then third quarter happened, and Sixers didn't play well at all. Turnovers have been a story early so far in this season. Lots of sloppy play, lots of disconnect even on defense. They just don't look good. Like I said, there's not much you can point to that looks good right now, and it's disappointing. Caleb Martin has yet to find his stroke from beyond the arc, shooting a very low percentage. It's nice to have Paul George in. He's a great player. Like, he kind of just went off on him a little bit, but like, happy to have him as a Sixer. But yeah, just has not panned out. Kelly Oubre was 8 for 12 against the Clippers tonight, 18 points. He kind of had a nice night, but other than that, not much to write home about. Andre Drummond has been very inconsistent to start the season, and he was one that you brought in because he's the best backup big that Joel Embiid has had, and you bring him especially for situations like this where Joel Embiid's not playing, to kind of lessen the blow a little bit. Now, Joel's, he's not replaceable at all, but to lessen the blow a little bit with Andre Drummond, you like that, and yet here we are, 7 games that the Sixers have played without Joel Embiid to start the season, and they've lost 6 of them. That's just not what you want. It's just not what you want if you want to stay afloat, in those non-Joel Embiid games. And I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, it's the start of the season, but when Embiid's back and George is really, really in the full swing of things, and hopefully, again, Maxi's healthy, but when you fast forward to January, February, March, Joel Embiid's going to continue to miss games. There's lots of back-to-backs in January, and he already said he's not playing back-to-backs, and there's a lot of games out there. Once Embiid's back, there's still a lot of games out there where he's not going to be on the floor, and you can't go 1-6 every 7 games and he's not there. And you got to start winning games. You got to start helping the big fella out a little bit and winning these games. And right now they're not. And so it's not, you fast forward way down the line, but like, George is going to miss games too. And you bring in these depth pieces that the Sixers brought in an Andre Drummond, a Caleb Martin, retaining Kyle Lowry, Kelly Oubre, a guy like KJ Martin. You bring in Eric Gordon, you draft McCain, you got Ricky Council. You bring in some of these guys, retain some of these guys. We talked all offseason about how deep this team is, and deep teams that are truly deep and good at their depth, even without their best player, go win games. And Sixers have not done that yet, which is disappointing. So you just hope that it's only an indication of the beginning of the season and not what's to come, because all is not going to be just perfect and fine when Joel Embiid returns, because, again, he's still going to miss games later on in the season. A couple things I do want to touch on is, one, Reggie Jackson has not gotten a fair shake yet, and I don't get it. Kyle Lowry has been knocking down some shots, and, again, Michael and I have talked about who gets time. Kyle Lowry, Reggie Jackson. Is it going to be purely situational, purely a feel on who Nick Nurse wants to let play? But that has not been the case this season, as Kyle Lowry has logged a lot more minutes than Reggie Jackson. Reggie's only been seen in, I think, 3 games to this point. And, 3 games. He played against Toronto, Memphis, and the Clippers tonight. In tonight's game against the Clippers, he got garbage minutes. He came in with 6.5 to go. The Sixers were down 19 points. He played 9 minutes against Memphis. He's played 3 against Toronto. He has 3 points on the season. And he just hasn't gotten an opportunity yet, and I'm very confused by it. And I wouldn't be confused by it if we were sitting here and the Sixers were 6-1, and Kyle Lowry's amazing, and Tyrese Maxey's doing his thing, and maybe he's not the guy right now. But like, what do you have to lose? More games? You're already doing that. Reggie Jackson needs to be on the floor, in my opinion, because he's a proven veteran. He's 34 years old. And he still has a lot left in the tank. This is a guy that played 82 games last season for the Denver Nuggets, averaged 10 points a game, and through this season, he's barely played, and I don't get it. And the Sixers need something. They need something. They need someone. And Nick Nurse has not given him an opportunity yet, and I don't get it. I really don't. And I keep thinking, well, Sixers lost again. Right? Maybe next time out, Reggie's going to get a chance. Oh, Sixers lost again. Maybe next time Reggie's going to get a chance. He just hasn't gotten a chance yet. And at first I was like, maybe he's just not healthy, but like he's played a few minutes in 3 games, so it's not like he's not able to be on the floor for health or something. Like I'm very confused by this. So that's one. And then another thing to touch on, I already touched on Andre Drummond a little bit and his inconsistency, but I mean, what do you do if you're the Sixers from here? Because I mean, there are possessions tonight and in the game against Phoenix where they just look bad on offense. They look like they haven't played together, and to be fair, some of them have not. But there's a lot of new faces on a lot of these teams in the NBA, and they're figuring it out. You know what I mean? I mean, how much are we going to use the excuse of it's a new team, we're figuring things out, offense, defense, whatever? There's a lot of teams with new players, and they're figuring it out a lot quicker. This is a ranting episode, but if you're still with us, thanks. But a couple more things I want to mention before I get out of here is, the season's not over. The season's not lost. It's early November. Sixers have struggled to start the season. Everybody's going to go through struggles, every single team. And it just so happens that the Sixers are the one of the teams struggling at the very, very beginning of the season where things are heightened. And, when you get in the grind of an 82-game season, all 30 teams are going to have stretches that aren't pretty. And so the hope is that this one for the Sixers won't be fleshed out much longer, and they'll get things right and start winning basketball games, and Joel Embiid's going to be there and build that chemistry and all of those things. But hope is not lost, again, because you have a top 5 player in the NBA who hasn't played yet on your team, and I mean the whole team revolves around him. It's just unfortunate that they haven't been able to win some games without him on the floor. Because, again, if that's a sign of things to come, that is not good for the Sixers' potential seeding. It's not good even if you think, like, for potential playoff spot. Like, if they're going to be this bad without Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid misses 45 games or however many games he's going to miss, that does not bode well at all for the Sixers' seeding and playoff chance and all of that. But the hope is that again, I've said it 4 times already, but the hope is that when Embiid is healthy and then misses a game here or there, that the Sixers can maintain and win some of those. It just has not been the case to start the season thus far. And I will say, I got a little, Sixers were on ESPN tonight against the Clippers. I got a little annoyed at the broadcast, just 5-6 times mentioning, well, no team in the NBA has made the NBA Finals after a 1-5 start since the Supersonics or whoever in the 70s. And it's just like they kept saying it. And like, I mean, who cares? And I'll tell you one thing, if the Sixers are healthy and whatever seed they're at, if they're in the playoffs at the end of April, don't care what seed they are, we will not be talking about the start of the season the Sixers had and how it impacted them, late in the season, right? Because like it doesn't have any value at that point. And so just kind of so stupid, I thought, to just be continually bringing that up. It hasn't been since the 70s that someone made the NBA Finals after a 1-5 start. And, like, okay, who cares? Like, again, if they're healthy and they make the playoffs and they're trending in a right direction months from now, right, literally 5 months from now, then who cares about this horrendous start to the season? They suck right now, but doesn't matter in a few months if you right the ship, and there's all the reason in the world to believe that they will and they can. Again, it's just a product of what it is right now. The start of the season, things are heightened, and Sixers are along with the Bucks, are 1-5, 1-6, something like that. Like, what in the world? It's crazy. But to be honest, it would be a little more concerning if Joel Embiid was on the floor. The Sixers are 1-6, and he's a game changer. He's one of the best players in the NBA for a reason, and that's going to show. Again, it's good to have Paul George back, after his little injury in the preseason. And, that's all really got to say, I think. But lot to process. Trust the process. Sixers are 1-6 to start the season, and they're in a hole. They got to dig themselves out a little bit, and we'll see what happens in these next 2 games without Joel Embiid. We'll see what it looks like with Joel Embiid on the floor next week, and just start winning games. Like, it's not rocket science. It's just Sixers are losing a lot of games right now, looking pretty ugly for the majority of the time, and you got to start winning games and start putting out a better product on the floor than they are right now, and they have the roster construction to be able to do that, undoubtedly. Like, that's for sure. They just got to do it, and so we'll see what happens, but not a good start for the Sixers season. This is Planet 76, episode 162. Again, Sixers' upcoming schedule. They're staying in LA tonight and tomorrow night, and then on Friday night, again on ESPN, they'll do battle with the Lakers, again without Joel Embiid, before returning home for 3 games in a row. Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. A second of a back-to-back will be against the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are unbeaten so far, I think 9-0. But Hornets on Sunday and Knicks on Tuesday, the first game of the in-season tournament for the Sixers, and hopefully Joel Embiid's debut on the season. We will see you next time on Planet 76. You just listened to an episode of the Planet 76 podcast. Hey, we appreciate you joining us for this episode. Whatever platform you're on, why don't you hit that subscribe button for us, and we'll see you next time.